Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into the sources to pull out the insights you need. Today, we're looking at a molecule that, honestly, it sounds a bit like science fiction. Our sources are calling it a miracle supplement. Wide-ranging benefits, practically zero side effects. Everything from fighting viruses to maybe even preventing cancer.
Yeah, it really does sound like marketing height, doesn't it? And that's exactly why we're diving in today. Our mission is to really unpack this protein, lactoferrin. It's naturally occurring. And we want to figure out how one single thing can possibly do so much. I mean, antimicrobial, balancing iron, protecting your brain, immune support. The list goes on.
Right, when you just list the properties essential for reproduction, protects DNA, helps the microbiome, makes you wonder, is this just overblown? Or is there some deep evolutionary reason it's designed to juggle all these roles?
Oh, there's definitely a powerful evolutionary reason. Absolutely. And if you want proof of just how critical it is, you just have to look at where it's found in the highest amount.
Okay, let's get into that. Where do we find this stuff?
Okay, so lactoferrin is a protein, and it's fundamental to all mammals, us included, and its highest concentration, human milk, specifically colostrum, that first milk. We're talking massive amounts, up to 7 grams per liter, huge. Even in mature milk, it's still high, maybe 1 to 3 grams per liter. It's clearly non-negotiable for kickstarting a newborn's immune system and gut.
Wow, 7 grams. That immediately tells you it's critical, not just some optional extra. And the sources say it's not just in milk, right? It pops up elsewhere.
Correct. It's part of our innate defense. You find it in saliva, in tears, even semen. It's a first-line responder. But here's where it gets really interesting for, well, everyone else. We also make lactoferrin when our muscles contract.
Yeah. You mean exercise?
Exactly. Exercise stimulates its production.
So that old saying about exercise boosting your immune system, this could be a direct molecular link. Not just feeling good, but actually making an anti-infection molecule.
Precisely. This could be a key reason why people who exercise regularly tend to report fewer colds, fewer upper respiratory infections. It's like localized immune support tied directly to moving your body.
Okay, so people want to supplement with it. Where does that usually come from? Not human milk, I assume.
No, definitely not. The supplement form is almost always bovine lactoferrin. So from cows, sometimes goats or sheep. The structure is really similar to ours, over 70% the same, so it works well in our bodies.
And safety-wise, since it's basically just a protein, it should be pretty safe.
Extremely safe. Yeah, think of it like eating protein. There's really only one major exception.
Yeah.
If you have a true allergy to cow's milk proteins, like a dairy protein allergy, then you absolutely cannot take it.
Right, an allergy to the protein itself, not lactose intolerance, because most supplements are lactose-free anyway.
Exactly that. That's a crucial distinction.
Okay, now we hit the big skeptical question. If I swallow this protein, want my stomach acid and all those enzymes, just chew it up before it does anything useful?
Ah, yes. The digestion question. And that's actually the really cool part, the aha moment here. Partial digestion is not only okay, it's actually key to how it works. When lactoferrin gets broken down, the little fragments that result, they're called peptides. These peptides are also highly beneficial. They're active too.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about the whole protein surviving the journey. The breakdown bits are doing good stuff too.
Precisely. These little amino acid chains, they have their own immunomodulatory effects, anti-infectious actions. They even help the good gut bacteria.
And the range of things it fights is,
Yeah.
well, it's kind of stunning. The sources list common bacteria like Klebsiella, some E. coli strains, Staph aureus, and it's used to help with really tough ones like H. pylori.
Yes, absolutely. And it doesn't stop at bacteria. We see evidence it helps against viruses too, things like the flu virus, the COVID-19 virus, even herpes simplex, cold sores. Then there are fungi like Candida thing oral thrush or vaginal yeast infections.
Wow.
And even some protozoa like Giardia.
Okay, the fact that one single protein can target bacteria, viruses, and fungi, that's pretty unique. But there's one specific action that really jumps out, especially for chronic stuff, dealing with biofilm.
Oh, biofilm is huge, absolutely critical. Think of it like a protective slime shield that bacteria and fungi build around themselves. It makes them really hard to kill, resistant to antibiotics, resistant to our own immune system. Lactoferrin helps break down that shield. It disrupts the biofilm.
So it sort of opens the door,
Yep.
allowing other treatments like antibiotics or herbs to actually get in and work.
Exactly. It's a massive help in any situation where you're dealing with a stubborn, persistent infection. Makes other therapies much more effective.
Okay, but that leads to a kind of paradox, doesn't it? If it's so good at fighting all these microbes, How does it not just wipe out all our beneficial gut bacteria, especially since you said it's vital for babies' guts?
Right, seems like a contradiction. But again, evolution's pretty smart here. Think back to mother's milk. It's packed with lactoferrin, yes, but it also contains over 700 different species of beneficial bacteria meant to colonize the infant gut.
Ah.
If lactoferrin was just a broad-spectrum killer, that system wouldn't work at all. Evolution would have failed.
Okay, so it must be selective somehow. It knows who the bad guys are.
That's the key insight. It selectively targets and knocks back the pathogenic microbes. But at the same time, it actually seems to encourage the growth and settling in of the good guys, the beneficial or commensal bacteria. It's like a microbiome regulator.
Let's do that. What's the mechanism for being so selective? You mentioned iron earlier.
Yes, iron is absolutely central to its antimicrobial action. See, most pathogenic microbes desperately need iron to grow, to replicate, to cause trouble. Lactoferrin's main weapon is iron sequestration. It binds iron really tightly. Essentially, it grabs onto the available iron and hides it, making it unavailable to the pathogens. It basically starves them.
It starves them. That's
Yeah.
elegant. So critically then, if someone is buying a supplement specifically for this bug-fighting, iron-stealing ability, they need a particular form.
Yes, absolutely crucial. You need to look for apolactoferrin. Apopo means it's the form that is not already carrying iron. It's empty, ready to bind.
Makes sense.
If you take lactoferrin that's already saturated with iron, well, its ability to sequester more iron from pathogens is dramatically reduced. It can't fight as well.
Okay, stop right there. We need to hammer this home because it sounds really important regarding safety.
Yeah.
If apolactoferrin removes iron, what happens if someone is already iron deficient? Maybe trying to treat anemia. Taking this alone would be bad.
Yes, very bad, and completely ineffective for treating anemia on its own. This is critical. Because its job is to grab iron, you must never take apolactoferrin alone if you're trying to raise your iron levels. If you are iron deficient and using lactoferrin perhaps for gut health or immunity while treating the anemia, you must take it along with a separate iron supplement. And obviously figure out why you're anemic in the first place.
Right, because in that context, with supplemental iron present, lactoferrin actually helps you absorb and use that iron better, correct?
Exactly. It enhances the uptake of the iron you're adding, but it won't provide iron if it's in the apo form.
Got it. And one last point on buying it.
Yeah.
There's some confusion with product names.
Yes, be careful. Some products in pharmacies are marketed with lactoferrin in the name, but they are actually iron supplements designed to deliver iron, sometimes using lactoferrin as a carrier. That's the opposite of what we're usually talking about here, apolactoferrin for fighting infections. So read the label very, very carefully. Make sure you know if it's apo or iron-bound.
Okay, let's switch gears to practical uses. Where does this actually fit in when treating things?
Well, it's typically used as an adjuvant, meaning it's a helper. It supports the main treatment, whether that's conventional medicine or integrative approaches. It's really helpful for recurrent things like urinary tract infections, cystitis. Also, foundational support for gut problems, think SIBO, treating H. pylori, even supporting folks dealing with chronic Lyme or gum disease, periodontal issues. And one really important use. We often recommend it when someone has to take strong antibiotics for a serious infection, like pneumonia or a bad kidney infection.
Why then specifically?
Because the antibiotics, while necessary, often wreck the gut microbiome, right? Lactoferrin can help protect the good bacteria and fight opportunistic bugs during that process. It mitigates the damage.
That makes a lot of sense. What kind of doses are we typically talking about? What do the studies use?
The standard doses in most clinical trials are usually between 300 milligrams and 600 milligrams a day. 300 milligrams is probably the most common dose you see recommended for general support.
Can you take too much? I mean, we were talking grams per liter in mother's milk earlier.
Not really in terms of toxicity. Remember, it's just a protein, taking, say, 5 grams. Metabolically, that's kind of like eating a really big steak. As one expert we looked at joked, the main limit on taking really high doses is usually just the cost. Your wallet gives out first.
Right. Okay, but those higher doses, they can have some pretty powerful effects, especially working alongside other things.
Oh, absolutely. There's some striking evidence there. For example, in really stubborn fungal infections, using 2,000 milligrams, that's 2 grams daily. It's been shown to help overcome Candida's resistance to common antifungal drugs, the azoles. It makes the drugs work better again.
Wow, 2 grams. And you mentioned a personal story from one source about using it for a virus.
Yes, that was a memorable one. Someone described taking a really big whack, 4,500 milligrams, so 4.5 grams, split over maybe 2 doses in just a few hours, right at the very first tingle of a herpes simplex cold sore starting.
Right.
And the outbreak just stopped. Completely aborted. It shows how fast it can act if you hit it hard and early enough.
Okay, let's circle back to safety one more time, specifically around the immune system. We know it's safe in pregnancy, for babies, and the big no is the dairy protein allergy. But what about people with autoimmune diseases, or people taking drugs to suppress their immune system? Is it safe then?
This is a super important distinction. Lactoferrin is an immune modulator, not an immune stimulant.
Okay, what's the difference in practical terms?
A stimulant just ramps everything up, hits the accelerator on the immune system. That could be really dangerous in autoimmunity, potentially triggering a flare. A modulator, though, it works differently. It helps bring the immune system back towards balance, towards equilibrium. It can calm down overactivity just as well as it can boost underactivity.
Okay, so it's aiming for balance, not just pushing one way. More like a conductor than just a loud trumpet.
Exactly. That's a good analogy. And because it seeks balance, it's generally considered safe for people with autoimmune conditions or those on immunosuppressants. It doesn't provoke things.
Good to know. Is there anything else people should be aware of, maybe temporary side effects?
Yes, one potential thing, especially if someone has really significant gut issues, like bad SIBO or dysbiosis, when lactoferrin starts working effectively and killing off a lot of pathogens quickly, you can sometimes get a temporary worsening of symptoms, more gas, bloating, maybe feeling a bit unwell. It's often called a healing crisis or a Herxheimer reaction, a die-off effect.
So it's actually a sign it's working, but it might feel rough for a bit.
Correct. It means the bad bugs are dying off, but it needs to be managed, usually by temporarily lowering the dose until things settle down.
And finally, interactions. Does it clash with any drugs or supplements?
This is another one of its really impressive features. There are basically no known harmful interactions. It doesn't interfere negatively with drugs, other supplements, anything reported. In fact, it's often the opposite. It's synergistic. It seems to actively help both probiotics and antibiotics work better, whether they're natural or pharmaceutical ones.
So let's bring this all together. What does this mean for you, listening? We've looked at this pretty amazing protein, lactoferrin, something nature designed to be absolutely critical for newborns. And we've seen how we can maybe borrow that intelligence to help with things like stubborn infections, balancing our microbes, maybe even supporting overall health. It does this with a remarkable safety profile.
Yeah, having this knowledge gives you another tool, doesn't it? A very targeted, yet somehow broadly effective support option. Whether you're struggling with recurrent infections like UTIs, or maybe you want to support your system during heavy-duty antibiotic treatment, lactoferrin gets at those fundamentals: iron balance, microbial overgrowth, without generally causing harm.
And thinking about fundamentals. We touched on that link between muscle contraction, exercise, and producing lactoferrin. That potential direct link between moving your body and boosting this specific defense molecule.
Right. And if you take that one step further, consider all the other things lactoferrin does systemically. We mentioned neuroprotection, anti-aging effects, protecting DNA. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could lactoferrin be one of the key molecular signals that directly links physical fitness, not just to feeling good, but to actual measurable longevity and system-wide health?
Definitely something to think about.
Something for you to consider as you continue your own learning journey.